Leroy Sané's future at FC Bayern Munich is still TBD. He got that new agent in, didn't he? That Bond villain guy, Pini Zahini, who went back to Max Eberl, you know, executive director, glasses, shiny pants, and said, I want a signing on fee for my player, my client, otherwise we walk away. Now, it looks like he might have to walk away because Leroy Sané's contract expires in a couple of weeks, and the Club World Cup, that is just days away. So they're going into a major tournament with a few options on the left-hand side, a few players that you can either argue, depending on which side of the coin you look, are aging and flashy and not really delivering the goods. And I want to make that point here. So this is Bayern Munich. These are the goals and the assists from that squad. Yeah, they did win the Bundesliga. They did lift the Meisterschale, Harry Kane's first ever trophy lift. And by the way, he's just been voted as the Bundesliga player of the season. Clap it in for the English striker. But look down here, look. These are your options on the left currently. Leroy Sané, and thankfully they're already presented that way by achievements. I didn't do anything, right? I'm not manipulating data to make a point, Your Honour. Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry and Kingsley Coman. There's your three current left wingers or players that have been tried on the left. Goals-wise, Leroy Sané's had one of his best in a long time. 11 goals in the Bundesliga. Gnabry 7, Coman 5. Now, to be fair, those two have been injured for quite a while. It's the assist, though. Michael Olise, with that chef's kiss of a left foot, he's come up with 15 assists on the right-hand side with that left foot. But on the left-hand side, it's 14 assists between three major players that are on serious money. And I can tell you that, whether or not it's true or not. Here, according to capology.com, and I can't really make it any bigger because it'll break the internet, but we can have a go. No, I can't. Sorry. You'll have to trust me or squint. So, those three players that I just called out, Leroy Sané, I mean, this is an estimate, but it's better than nothing to go on, right? Let's call it 290. It's in euro, by the way. So Leroy Sané is on 290,000 a week. Kingsley Coman's on 326,000 euro a week, and Serge Gnabry is on 362,000 euro a week. That's quick maths there. 6, 7, 8. That's nearly 900,000 a week on left wingers. And what does that get you? That gets you 14 assists. That is eye-watering amounts of money. But then again, this is FC Bayern Munich. They are a €1 billion revenue club, right? Although the pressure is fucking on, and I'm not surprised it's on Max Eberl, right, to reduce the wage bill. And also, they want to bring in Florian WIRTZ, who Manchester City have gone, do you know what? We're not in that race because it's an obscene amount of money, which it sort of is. So, I channel my autism to find options for FC Bayern Munich on the left. And this one should be familiar to people like Liam from the Bayern View, maybe to Dishy Danny from Always Buying Chelsea, and to all you FC Bayern Munich fans out there. You'll have seen this one before, right? Christopher NKUNKU, ex-RB Leipzig, don't forget. Christopher NKUNKU will leave Chelsea in the summer. Several top clubs, including Liverpool, who want to build... Just want everybody, don't they? Want to build an army at Liverpool. Newcastle and Bayern Munich are also being informed on the conditions of the deal. That was this week, by the way. And then we go over to our favourite, Florian Plettenberg. You know, he works for Sky in Germany. He covers the transfer market. He's especially close to FC Bayern. This again was this week. Christopher NKUNKU will leave Chelsea this summer. The decision has been made, as previously reported. A permanent transfer is planned, not a loan. FC Bayern are still monitoring his situation and remain in contact with his management. Don't forget, like we said up top, or maybe I didn't say up top actually, NKUNKU shares the same agent as Leroy Sané. Yeah, they had the same guy in common. The Bond villain, Pini Zahini. And to be fair, Leroy Sané's only just switched, but NKUNKU has been a client of Pini Zahini, or the other way around, for quite a while now. Anyway, FC Bayern is still monitoring the situation and remain in contact with his management with the Bonvillen. However, nothing is advanced at this stage. Other top clubs are also interested, and this is Florian Plottenberg. So we just go back in time now to January, by the way. So during the transfer window in the winter, which again, as you'll know, if you're a Bundesliga fan, or if you're not and you're new to this channel, thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving up your time. While you're at it then, have a think about it, and don't think too hard, don't think too long about it. How about you smash that like button, you subscribe to the channel, and spread the word on our behalf. Please. Tell your friends, tell your work colleagues, your classmates, your family while you're out and about and in with a shout. Let people know. Send them over to the channel. Come on. Everyone's safe here. It's a safe space. Real men cry too. We look after everybody. Anyway, that's good. And the point I was trying to make is that if you're aware of the Bundesliga, and that was delivered, by the way, they hit pause in December and don't pick up the league again, do they, until late January. And that's primarily for the safety, not only of the players and the staff, but of the fans. Because, there's some pretty austere, harsh, ugly weather conditions at that time of the year in winter. So again, the Bundesliga, they're thinking of their people, right? Not just the players, not just the safety of the players, but the safety of the fans. Premier League, you could take note, couldn't you? You could take note of that. Anyway, back here, look. So this all happened in the January transfer window. Personal terms with Bayern, 100% agreed as revealed. Should a January move prove to be impossible, NKUNKU remains an option for Bayern in the summer. And we're in that summer right now, by the way. We're in that summer right now. And again, this is Fabrizio Romano. So this is bringing some closure to the deal that never happened, obviously. And depending upon whether you're watching this, well, you're going to be watching it in the future from as was January. I can't turn back time like Cher. We're recording this May the 21st, on the eve of the all-English Brits banged up abroad Europa League final, by the way. Link in the description down below. If you want to change your scene, you want a palate cleanser, go and check out the all-English Europa League final between Tottenham, Spurs, come on you Spurs, you do me, and Manchester United, Manchester Global, the Red Devils from the Theatre of Memes. You can go and check out our preview and wild prediction to that game, which is going off on May 21st. Link in the description down below. Again, I can't yeah, so this is May. We're referring to events that happened back in January. Fabrizio Romano, we've got to trust him as well, because he's everywhere, right? He's like the octopus. Bayern director Ebrel, we know him well, don't we? Sorry, just check them in the camera. Confirms Christopher NKUNKU deal is complicated. We have a squad that is sufficiently equipped in terms of quantity and quality. Those words might well haunt him. We have no interest in doing anything in January. Again, this is May. We're recording this in May. We're talking about January. We can't turn back time like Cher. Matthias Tell. We're extremely happy with our squad. And again, Matthias Tell is currently on loan at Tottenham. It's likely that he'll be a substitute on the bench during this all-English Brits banged up abroad all-English Europa League final. And then we come here, look. Now, this was only a few days ago. This is a screenshot from somebody sat at home, maybe in their pants, maybe in their loungewear, maybe in FKW, maybe a full kit wanker in their FC Bayern gear, watching Sky in Germany, sky.de. And the comment is, Bayern remain interested in NKUNKU. They are watching the situation closely. Not very good grammar, but hey, who cares? It's social media. You got your point across. NKUNKU understand? Look, I don't speak that great German, but I'm seeing Christopher NKUNKU. I'm seeing the Bayern badge, and I'm seeing the date, and I'm doing the maths. Right, I'm doing the maths. And this is a trusted source for us, BavarianFootballWorks.com. Report, Bayern Munich among top clubs monitoring Chelsea's Christopher NKUNKU. The former Leipzig star needs to restart his career after a stint with the Blues, to be fair. Can it be back in the Bundesliga? That's the question. Florian WIRTZ, we're not going into that one today. He's not the only attacking midfielder in Bayern Munich's sights. Thomas Muller, legend that he is, 751 games, 13 Meisterschallers, a shitload of other domestic cups, 2 Champions Leagues as well, don't forget. He's moving on. Is he going to go and play in the MLS? We saw those rumours the other day, right? He's not ruled it out, but Thomas Muller, how are we going to be seeing him in an LA Galaxy or an LA Angels shirt in the MLS after the Club World Cup, because he's still going to be contributing to Bayern Munich in the Club World Cup. And you can watch all the Club World Cup with us right here on the channel, German Football Spotlight. So again, think about it, but don't think too long. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel so you'll know when those future videos are coming. And tell your friends, spread the word. Spread the word on our behalf. When you're out and about and in with a shout, tell your friends, your classmates, your workmates, wherever you are, your family, bring them all in. Anyway, with Thomas Muller out of the frame, there were guy liked. And if they can't get the man that we're not talking about, Florian WIRTZ, well, Christopher NKUNKU could be a very attractive backup. Very expensive backup. And we'll get to that very soon. This is a quote from Pletin Goal. That's the guy, Florian Pletin Goal, the guy on X. We might be the last people that use it. Bayern are still keeping an eye on Christopher NKUNKU's situation, are in contact with Pini Zahari. Nothing confirmed. Several other top clubs interested. And here we go. Look, there was a €60 million transfer from Leipzig to Chelsea a few years ago on the back of, by the way, this level of form. 172 games for Leipzig, 70 goals, 45 assists, and 2 back-to-back DFB Pokals against Freiburg on penalties, and then a 2-0 convincing win against Eintracht Frankfurt in his last game. And it was also the last game in a Leipzig shirt for Dominik Szoboszlai, the Hungarian, then transferred over to Liverpool. Let's take a look at him, actually. So yeah, spent a good amount of time building him up. This is Christopher NKUNKU. He's 27, so again, that's comparable with the ages of those current 3 Bayern left wingers. There we go. Look, well, Coman's 28, Gnabry's 29, Sané's 29. So yeah, you can argue he's slightly younger, but he's in his peak, isn't he? Peak, bruv. Peak. He's in his peak. He's French. He's played for the national team. 14 times for the national team. 1 goal. He's currently out injured. Unknown injury. But again, it's confirmation that it was a €60 million transfer to Chelsea. This season, by the way, in the Premier League, stop-start. Yeah. Not really getting much game time. 27 appearances. A lot of that off the bench. I'll just confirm that for you now. Look at that. Only 9 starts, 18 appearances off the bench. 3 goals, though, and 2 assists. In the Conference League, he's on fire. 9 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists. We'll dig into that more soon as well. It's at Leipzig, though. Again, that 172 games at Leipzig, 70 goals, 55 assists. That was in all competitions. And again, here's some of the games that he played in, and just confirmation of those 2 DFB Pokals. Look, they beat Frankfurt. Actually, he scored in that game. He was playing as a shadow striker, Football Manager terminology there, shadow striker, and he was an attacking mid the year before against Freiburg when they won on penalties. So, he's got it in him. And actually, if you look at the breakdown of where he can play, he's not just a shadow striker, or second striker, as I guess they're going to refer to it here. He's also played on the left wing, which is why I've picked this out. But he's got versatility because he can also play in these other roles. He's not going to get a game on the right wing, is he? Not while Michael Olise can still move and still use that left foot. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get a go on the right. Left wing, absolutely. Could play in the middle. Again, no Thomas Muller. And if they do or do not get Florian WIRTZ, then they're going to need someone in there in that number 10. Unless they just keep Musiala and they use NKUNKU as a backup. But you put him on the left, right? Or you play him as a shadow striker, and you change the formation. But the big brain one, as we know, he's set, isn't he? He's set with that 4-2-3-1 with that double pivot, the two wingers, the midfield, the number 10, and then the striker Harry Kane. So, yeah, it's like I think it'd be an attractive option on the left. It's just that he hasn't really had much game time this season. 27, and again, just coming back here. Most of the games he's played, where he started, has been either for France in the UEFA Nations League, or it's in the Cups, or it's in the Conference League, where, and we'll come on again, where he's absolutely ripping it up. And the reason he can't really get in this team is because of this man here, because of Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, trying to do that gesture. He started 35 games this season. All right, again, from midfield, 15 goals, 8 assists. So 23 goal involvements from a midfielder who came from Manchester City, who's only 23. He's the reason why. Well, he's probably the reason as well why Phil Foden, Angry Cat Man, look at that meme on Instagram, or an Ask Jeeves, I should say, or get your friend to recreate it. It's the reason that Phil Foden's England form has dropped off a cliff, right? Because this guy's getting all the game time. And actually, what about we look at the money, right? This is interesting then. So again, Cole Palmer, 35 starts, 1 sub appearance. What are these people earning? Well, again, we'll go back to capology.com. So again, I can't zoom in because it'll break everything. 130,000 a week, pound. So what's that? 135,000 euro a week. Cole Palmer, Christopher NKUNKU, 190. Well, actually 200. So 200,000 euro a week gets you Christopher NKUNKU. And again, his form, he's not really getting the game time. And I did want to spell that out for you. Look, so this is Christopher NKUNKU. If you can see here, these are the amount of minutes he's playing. He's coming on as a sub here and there. He's getting a start. Maybe he's hitting 70, 75. The goals that he has scored, though, are mainly coming in the cup competitions and again, I'm sensitive of not offending anybody or any other fan, but I'll just say the words and you can rip me apart in the comment section down below. The assists and goals he's scoring against teams that you would expect Chelsea to be beating. There you go. It's better than me saying he's scoring and assisting and helping wins against teams that are worse than Chelsea. Although, again, Chelsea this season, let's just take a quick look at that. There's the table. They are in 5th. They are on a late surge. They have won 4 at the last 5. They've got 1 game to go, and that's against Nottingham Forest. And if other results go their way, because currently there's 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, potentially Manchester City, but they did cruise to a victory recently against Bournemouth. There's 5 teams in the shout for a Champions League and then a Europa League place. So Chelsea just need to win that game against Forest, which won't be easy because Forest are actually one of those teams that are pushing for Champions League. Anyway, and you could argue that, those goals from Cole Palmer and Nicola Miss Jackson, ooh, I am for real. Can we get done with that, Gonzo? Como, that says Fabregas, isn't it? He ain't going anywhere. He's got a good number at Como. Anyway, Chelsea, if they win that game and other results go their way, they'll end up finishing 4th in the Champions League, which will probably mean that, well, if NKUNKU stays, at least he'd be getting Champions League football, which would put his profile on a bigger, put him in a bigger shot window, wouldn't it? And you never know, might even end up back at Leipzig. Although, well, yeah. TBD. That's not the focus of this video, is it? The focus of this video is about Christopher NKUNKU, who is back in training after that knock that we saw on his transfermarket.com. He's back in training and they'll need him for this game because, of course, Real Betis, with a renaissance man that is this guy here, Anthony, on loan from Manchester United, he's dragged Real Betis into the Conference League final against Chelsea, which is awesome. And again, we're hoping that Christopher NKUNKU plays in that game because actually He's had 9 starts in the Europa Conference League. Scored 5 times, come up with 3 assists, 86% passing accuracy. Here you go, look. 3 crosses completed out of 8, taken 4 free kicks. Here's the assists. 22 shots on goal. He's at the crossbar once. That's not worried about defending because he's not there for that, is he? But anyway, yeah, they're hoping that he'll be fit and ready to play in this game. This game takes place a week today. So this is May 28th. Oh, look, it's in Raklov in Poland. Yeah, there he is, look. So he might not be getting regular game time in the Premier League, but in European competition, the Conference League, which the winners of which, I believe, you end up in the Europa League next season. And actually the cash for winning it is something like, I'm sure it's something like €5 million. So it's not, well, it's nothing compared to what the American owners chucking in the club, right? But it's something, and it's a medal. It goes on your CV, on your resume. Well done. Anyway, where did I want to go from here? I wanted to spell out that, yeah. So some of the salaries of these players that are either in the peak or they're aging, depending upon which way you want to look at it. €900,000 a week for the current left wingers, which again, to recap, have delivered 14 assists. All right, you compare that with our boy NKUNKU. He's come with, well, 2 assists. But it's this competition, isn't it? It's where it's at for him is in the Europa League. So he is contributing. He's making an impact. He can't get the game time because of Cole Palmer. His salary, though, in comparison with some of those guys, is still a lot, right? Still 200,000. I mean, that is a saving, right? You could argue that, you know, he is saving Max Ebrel at least 100. What if you picked out the lowest earning one, pick out Sané, that's still 88,000 a week. Sorry, yeah, 88,000 euro a week saved, and you're more likely to get more of an impact. And he's a proven commodity. He knows the Bundesliga because NKUNKU's played there before. Again, he played there with Leipzig, 172 games, so he knows the conditions. It's just, yeah, it ain't. Well, that's not a decision for me to make, is it? That's for Max Ebrel. So what other options could they bring in? Well, and again, if you're a regular viewer of this show, you'll know where this segue is going to go. I'll spell it out for you. We looked at this guy recently, Luis Enrique. Again, there is a link in the description down below to a video where we explored Luis Enrique of Olympique de Marseille as an option on the left wing. And why is he attractive? Well, these are his numbers this season in Ligue 1, where they've finished second behind winners PSG. The other, Luis Enrique, ex-Barcelona, he's the manager, isn't he? They're in the final. PSG were in the final against Inter. Olympique Marseille finished second, which means they're in the Champions League next season. And our boy Enrique, 33 games, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 goal involvements from a guy who's Brazilian, who's only 23. And look at this. This is exciting. Look at his salary. 24. You could even call it 25. Fuck it. 25,000 euro a week. Compare that. Yeah, just sit down, take a breath. Compare that with some of these numbers here. Okay, these guys, you could argue, have proven themselves. They're serial winners. You know, they've won umpteen Bundesligas. A few of these were in the last, were playing under Hansi Flick when they won. I keep insisting on calling it a European Cup. Have you got that feeling that I've got an itch for nostalgia? Anyway, a few of those players were in Hansi Flick's squad that won the septuple back in 2020-21 COVID era. Anyway, and obviously their salaries have inflated, unlike the average working person. But that, again, no religion, no politics here. And I say that because you can join the Discord. Link also in the description down below. Join our Discord where we have 2 rules. No religion, no politics. So there'll be no talk about inflation and stagflation on wages. Anyway, look at those guys and the money that they're earning on the left wing. And then you look at Luis Enrique, you think, yeah, I'll have 4 of them, please. Now, this guy, admittedly, has been playing on the left. He can play as a right midfielder, but he's a left winger, so he's an absolute, just a like-for-like replacement for a Leroy Sané or a Gnabry or a Coman. The other option, of course, is Ryan CHERKI. His name keeps getting thrown about. This is Fabrizio Romano again. Ryan CHERKI has decided to leave Olympique, not Marseille, but Olympique Lyon this summer. The plan's already been announced by the player. That was in the mix zone. So post-game, one night he's just gone, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm off. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao, ciao. Thanks to Olympique Lyon, the coach, the staff, the president, my teammates, and all the people at the club. I'm off now. And that was this week. Ryan CHERKI then, everybody. He's 21, so he's fractionally younger than Luis Enrique. French under 1 international, under 21 international, sorry, get my words out. He's played at all these different age groups. He has scored, look at that, he scored pretty much, 70% of the time for the under-21s, 13 goals in 23 games. For the under-19s, 2 goals in 3 games. For the under-23s, he hasn't scored yet, but he's played twice. His market valuation is €35 million. And this season in Ligue 1 for Olympique Lyon, 30 games in Ligue 1, 8 goals, 11 assists. So just shy of 20 goal involvements. What's his salary? Are you sitting down? Are you ready for it? Ryan CHERKI, bit more expensive, isn't he? 7 to call it 8. You could call it 80 if you want. It's 77, but we could round it up to 80. €80,000 a week. So again, you could get 3 Enriques for that money. But he does have Europa League experience. Again, 12 times he's played in the Europa League for Lyon. 4 goals, 8 assists, so 12 goal involvements there. So what was that? Do some quick maths. 12 plus that, 29. Oh, what's that? 4, is that? Hang on. We'll call that 20. 20 plus 12. 34, 35 goal involvements. You know, it's still 77,000 compared to, look at these guys. So you could he's still getting 2.5 Ryan CHERKIs for Leroy Sané. Apparently though, and this is, we have to call back, we're doing a call back to Bavarian Football Works. We're going back earlier in the year, turning back time like Cher. The pursuit of Ryan CHERKI for FC Bayern Munich was called off or delayed because he's a difficult character. That's interesting, isn't it? He's a difficult character. Nothing about money, nothing about politics. He himself is a difficult character. It's interesting personality. Do we go into this? News that Ryan CHERKI was available for a measly, small, tiny, which to be fair, yeah, €22 million is, considering that he's bagged all these goal involvements, look. They are a top 5 league, aren't they? All right, top 6? 6th biggest league in Europe. We still played in the Europa League, right? Which is important. Back to this article. So it's a measly amount of money. Munich were interested in it. The club didn't make an offer because the player is considered to have a difficult character and needs to be integrated slowly, which wouldn't have happened mid-season. Dortmund have also had a go, but they failed, as did Leverkusen. Fascinating, that, isn't it? Really is interesting. Really is interesting. And actually, if we pick up here, this is cutoffside.com. This is effectively where Christian Falk lays down his ideas. And we can see here that BVB Dortmund are interested for what it's worth. However, they need to see more outstanding performances. They basically need to see him turn up in the Club World Cup so they can raise the money to go out and sign him. And then Liverpool. But this was interesting. Liverpool made a similar point, and I'm trying to read the nuances of it. Falk went on to add that Liverpool were in for him, but negotiations became very difficult again as they were in the previous January. something about this kid, isn't there? Something about this Ryan CHERKI. And then sport.de, just to cover it again. I know we're straying away from NKUNKU, but don't worry, I can bring it back again because I'm a seasoned professional in that there media. According to a report, where's this report from? Where's this? Yeah, well, sport.de, I suppose. They're all right for it, don't they? Plettenberg, Falk, and a few others all right for this. According to Bild, here we go, right. Court offside confirms that Dortmund are still very interested in him, as are Liverpool and Manchester United, and even, well, I'm Bayern Munich obviously, but even PSG. But strikingly, no Dortmund mentioned in that report. And then, wham, this is literally this morning, a day of filming. Manchester United want to sign Leon CHERKI this summer. However, just to slap you in the face, whoosh, if I had that soundboard, CHERKI's preference would be to join Liverpool. Of course it would. Absolutely, of course it would. And again, those numbers, fantastic from Christopher NKUNKU. That's the kind of form that an FC Bayern would absolutely salivate over, right? Because that would solve a lot of the problems. Yeah, they'd have to negotiate on his salary, but then again, you'd be saving money if you brought him in. You could offload a Coman and a Sane. And just to round us out, because this amused me. Well, not just amused me, but this is a nice story. It's a feel good. It's a puff piece. That's what they call it in the media, isn't it? It's a puff piece. This is Christopher NKUNKU. A big success on the pitch and in Football Manager. Look at this. So this was Football Manager 23, FM 23. I know I've got some Football Manager players out there that are audience members, and again, thank you for putting in the time. Yeah, look, in Football Manager 23, people played with, again, don't put me on a blog post or misquote me or misclip me for that one. People used him, that sounds worse, 2.1 million times. He scored 31,500 hat-tricks, made 1.1 million assists, and scored 1.1 million goals. Real player, fictional setting. Talking of fictional settings, where's he going? Is he going to go to FC Bayern Munich? Would you want him? You tried in January, as according to Fabrizio Romano and old Florian Plettenberg. You tried to bring him in January. Max Eberl said, no, we've got quality and quantity in the squad. You've had injuries since. You've had people throwing tantrums like Leroy Sané. He's, funnily enough, put in the same agent as Christopher NKUNKU. It's all gone wrong. It looks like he'll be walking in a few days. Thomas Muller's bowed out. Musiala's been out injured. What do? Do you bring in a guy that, all right, might be earning €200,000 a week, which again, to your eyes, is a lot of fucking money, but contextually, he and NKUNKU would still be cheaper than what you've currently got. And actually would probably deliver, well, just one more time on the assist thing, because it is all about the money ball, right? That's what we call it in Football Manager when we're scouting players, and this is what they do in real life. This is why data analysts get paid the Reddies, isn't it? This is in one competition, the Europa Conference League. 5 goals, 3 assists. And then in the rare times that he's played in the Premier League, look, which has not been many, again, we've identified that, he's getting stop-start. Oh, this was him playing, by the way, against Arsenal. And I swear down, Gonzo picked this out, didn't you? Gonzo picked this screen out, not me. We can see here who's play on the left. And again, just evidence that he can play on the left, sorry. Either as that shadow striker, support striker, which is currently being played by Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea. It's Jadon Sancho. NKUNKU can play on the left, but he's not going to get a game there with Olise. So he's either going to play on the left-hand side. Sorry, I keep saying left. He's not going to play on the right because of Michael Olise's left foot, but he's going to get a game on the left wing, or he could play in that number 10 on the occasions when Musiala's injured or being rested. That is in case you don't sign he who shall not be named, but fuck it, Florian WIRTZ. Anyway, so one more time. 3 assists in the Europa League, and in the rare game time that he's been getting in the Premier League, it's 2 assists. So, yeah, I mean, with more game time, you could argue that those numbers might well be tripled. I mean, look, what's that? 27 games in the Premier League out of a 36-game season. Yeah, he's played sort of 70% of it, but he's not getting regular game time because of Cole Palmer. Imagine what it would be like, right? Imagine him hitting those numbers. You'd be happy, wouldn't you? And on that note, yeah, there's a comment section down there with your name on it. Let us know your thoughts down below. Let us know your thoughts about Christopher NKUNKU. Would you want to see him join FC Bayern? If you don't, where's he going to go? Is he going to go to Arsenal? Because he is rumoured. But then again, Arsenal are going to get Rodrigo from Real Madrid, aren't they? Don't believe everything that you read unless it's on Ask Jeeves. Right, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about Christopher NKUNKU? Is he going to FC Bayern Munich? Where else is he going to go? He's 27. He needs the game time. You probably won't have to pay 60 million euro for him. You could probably get him for 30, maybe 25. Maybe use Klarna and pay in instalments. And if you have got this far in the video, thank you so much. Gonzo and I are extremely grateful. We do this on a full-time basis. Yeah, this is my career now. I'm doing it career. I'm trying to do it as professionally as I can. So if you could have a think about, but don't think too long. In fact, fuck it. Just smash that like button. Press the subscribe as well, because you'll know when future videos are coming. And ultimately, spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your classmates, tell your workmates, tell your family. When you're out and about and in with a shout, let people know. Spread the word. Send them here. Everyone's welcome here. It's a safe space. Men cry too. We're very passionate about what we do. You can join in with that too. We've got a watch along coming up for the DFB POKAL Cup final, the German Cup, similar to the English Cup. We've got that coming up on Saturday, May 24th. Join us with that. Stick around. There's loads more content, as you can see. It'll be popping up here and there. Subscribe again if you haven't already. It's muscle memory, isn't it? Muscle memory. And watch as many videos as you like. In the meantime, enjoy that all English Brits banged up abroad final in the Europa League. Ciao, 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 ciao.